We don't know where we came from. We don't know where we gonna go. Gotta learn a little history about ourselves, right? So the Aztec Empire was an empire that ruled all over Central and South America, right? What happened was the Conquistadors came and conquered them, and they put them in. You see this is? It's a real image. It's a real image of the Conquistadors putting our people into slavery. You said earlier when he asked you, what would you say your nationality would be? I think you would say African.
No, I said everything.
Everything.
As far as being human, or I feel like I'm everything. I feel like
Everything.
all in one.
Okay. Hey, my sister. If I asked you what's your nationality, what would you tell me?
I just mark whatever makes sense, but in reality, we kind of mixed. We from here, technically, right? We live here.
Hey, my sister in the back. Hey, what's your name, sis?
Angie.
Huh? Angie. If I asked you what's your nationality, what would you tell me?
Oh, and I'm on camera.
Huh? You Mexican? Okay. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring up nationality, right? Because in the Bible, nationality is real important, all right? Because a lot of people now say, I'm a little bit of this, I'm a little bit of that, I'm everything, we all one family, right? But the Bible says God's special people was going to end up losing their nationality. They were going to lose it. They were going to forget who they were. They were going to say we everything and all that, right? Including the so-called Mexicans, black man, whoever. You were going to lose your nationality. You know what I want? Jeremiah 17, verse 4. Let me get a little history real quick. And hold this real quick. You want to come back up? All right, read that. Come on.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee.
So the Bible says you was going to discontinue from your heritage. Now, on earth, is there a group of people that discontinue from their heritage? Give me one.
A lot of Mexicans.
A lot of, that's great. Hey, sis, come forward, man, so we can talk. Come on, we ain't gonna bite, we ain't not gonna bite. All right, she said something heavy, right? The so-called Mexicans. And the reason why I say so-called, let me ask you a question, sis. Why do the Mexican people speak Spanish? Oh, hey man, my sister right here. Why do the black women, why do they speak English?
Because we're geographically raised, right?
Well, we raised geographically that way.
So confusing.
I think about the question, right? Was we naturally speaking English at first? We wasn't, right? We're speaking all the different languages that was in Africa. Now, sis, we just said you didn't know, so I kind of don't want to lead the question, right? Think about this.
We just on the spot.
Yeah. Think about this, right? I don't want to put it on the spot.
Because I talk a little bit when I'm like, wait, I'm on the spot. Go ahead.
I'm gonna show one thing that got these two people in common: the so-called black, the so-called Mexicans. We all went through slavery. We all went through chattel slavery. When the English came and got us from, the English and the Portuguese came and got us from the west coast of Africa, they put their languages on us. They made us speak English. Hey sis, you ever heard of the Conquistadors? The Conquistadors. You never heard of Orlando Cortez, General Portillon. All these people were from, now I gotta, give me Deuteronomy 28 and 48.
You gotta go all the way.
Gotta go all the way in now. Gotta go all the way in, right? You got Spain right here. You got Spain. You got France, you got England, you got all these European nations. All the European nations that brought their languages over here to the Americas, right? In North America, where they primarily speak English. Central and South America, where they speak Spanish for the most part, right? The thing that binds all this together is that we came over here and learned their languages through slavery.
Right.
Both the black man and both the Hispanic man and women learned their languages through slavery. Read that. Deuteronomy 28:48.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 48.
Check it out.
Therefore, shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
So the Bible says now, that I'm going to read up to it too, because God's people broke God's laws. Because God gave us a set of laws and a way to live, right? Our people don't live that way. We kill, murder, steal, rob, we do all these things that God don't like. It's a punishment for it. And God said we're going to have to serve our enemy for doing that. Now this is the so-called
You still have to serve your
enemies, because those people that had us on them slave ships, they weren't our friends.
Right.
The people that came and conquered Mexico. Have you heard of the Aztec Empire, sis? What you heard about the Aztecs?
I don't know them.
How old are you, sis? 23? 21? Come on, we gotta learn some history about our people.
Right.
Because we don't know no history about our people. We don't know where we came from. We don't know where we gonna go. We gotta learn a little history about ourselves, right? So the Aztec Empire was an empire that ruled all over Central and South America, right? What happened was the Conquistadors came and conquered them, and they put them in. You see, this is it's a real image. It's a real image of the Conquistadors putting our people into slavery. All right, read that. Come on.
Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things.
Hey, now my sister. Now think about this, right? Once the Conquistadors came and ruled over Mexico, what did they do to them? What you got to do to conquer somebody? Think about it. You had to kill them, right? You killed them, you put them in slavery, you changed their language, because the first language was Aztec Atunga. That was the first language. You heard the Aztecs, right? You said you heard of them. So they had to come from somewhere. The Aztecs had to come from somewhere, right? Why there no more Aztecs? You never asked yourself that question? Why there no more Aztecs? And why are my people speaking Spanish? We have to think. We have to think about these things to know who we truly are.
Right.
Because when I was a kid, I asked myself, why do I speak English? That's not my natural language. I'm not from England. I don't. My relative's not the Queen of England. So why do I speak English? Same thing that the Spanish people had to start taking accounts of. Why do I speak Spanish? Why do I speak this language that comes from Spain? It's because of slavery. Because of slavery. One thing that our people, both our people, so-called Hispanic, black man have in common, we went through the same slave trade. Went through the same curses in his Bible, sis.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Now, my sister, now you see this right here? All this is from Central and South America. All this from Central and South America. Them putting us in chains. As a matter of fact, where's that picture? One of these pictures right here, this right here is from South America. This is from Central and South America also too. It's not from North America. I know most of the images that we have during slavery and things come from the plantations and everything of the southern United States. But these images right here come from Central and South America, where generally the Hispanic people are from. All right, so these curses in this Bible happen to you also. And let me show you something. Let me show you. There's no that. I'll keep reading.
Verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
The Bible says a nation will come from far as swift as the eagle flieth. Hey, can somebody give me that picture real quick? Yeah, oh, so you found that picture with the eagle? Which one that is? Yeah. See that Spanish coin? You see that? Yeah, the eagle and the Spanish coin? Because the Spanish are the ones that came and conquered Mexico. Read that again. Read that verse again.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
When Spain came, they didn't come from down the street. They came from across the Atlantic. Then when they came from across the Atlantic, they came bearing what they call a standard. They came bearing a sign. Come on.
From the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
As swift as the eagle flieth. They came bearing that eagle. And once they got there, what they do?
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Because Spanish wasn't the first language of the so-called Mexicans. It wasn't. It was Aztec Atunga. If you go further south, you go into the empire of the Incas. These are all the history that our people, they lost. And then when you lose your history, you kind of lose your connection to this Bible, right? Because when you forget where you come from, when you forget who you are, it makes it that much harder to go into the Bible and say, hold on, this Bible is talking about me. Hold on, I'm not Mexican. Hold on, I'm not black. Hold on, I'm an Israelite according to this Bible. because everything in this Bible refers to my history. But to understand that, you have to start getting a little sense of the history that our people went through. Because the so-called Mexicans, man, they went through hell, going in gold mines, getting hung up by their hands and wrists, and getting killed for not converting to Catholicism. Read that.
Verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
When they got there, they did not care who you was. The king of the Aztec was called Montezuma. You know what they did to him? They choked him out on top of the temple in front of everybody, so they can solidify their rule. Hernando Cortez did that. And if you did not convert to Catholicism, if you did not start speaking Spanish, if you did not want to work in them gold mines, because have you heard of the Spanish Armada? Spanish Armada was this big armada, thinking the 1500s, that got lost at sea, but they got lost because they were full of gold, because they raped all the gold mines of the Central and South America. Hey, match y'all question. I'm going over, match y'all, what's y'all nationality? What's y'all nationality? Huh? Come forward, come on. If I ask you what's your nationality, what you tell me?
What?
If I ask you what's your nationality or your people, what would you tell me? You don't know? You don't know where you come from? You don't know where you come from? You don't know where your people come from?
Where am I from?
Yeah.
Guatemala.
Guatemala, okay, there we go. Guatemala. What about you, my brother? Say Guatemala. Zebulon. So what I'm going over with my sister is the history of the so-called, it's a call, well not so-called, but so-called Mexicans, so-called Guatemalans, because we all went through the same oppression. We all went through that same oppression. I'm gonna ask you the same question as this sister. Why do they speak Spanish? I can't hear you. Y'all come forward, man. I can't hear y'all, man. I'm getting old now. Come on. Why y'all speak Spanish?
That's our language.
Was that y'all original language?
Yeah.
Y'all had Spanish from the day the first man was in Guatemala, it was Spanish. Who told you that? They don't know the dad, mom. Think about this, right? Have you heard of the country called Spain?
Yeah, I do.
There's a country called Spain, right? So, what language do they speak in Spain? Spanish. Have you ever seen the people of Spain?
Not really.
Not really look like white people. Gringos, as they say. That's what they look like, right?
Yeah.
So, and Spain been a country that has an armada, an army, and all that. They came over here and ended up conquering Central and South America. You ever heard that history? Probably. It's something, hey, it's crazy. In these schools, how old are you?
16.
16. Like in the schools, they not teaching the history no more. They're not teaching us the history no more, right? Hey, give me that in, what is Sirach 12, Never Trust the Enemy? Where's that at? I think it's 10 or 12, or 10 or 12, yeah, that's it. Because these schools ain't teaching us no more. We ain't learning who we truly are. Because in Guatemala, that was conquered by the Spanish. The Conquistadors came and ruled that whole land.
The book of Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
Hey, the Bible said never to trust your enemy, because they're not going to never teach you right. Because who you are not Guatemalan. You are an Israelite according to this Bible, bro. You an Israelite according to this Bible. And your history, the history that the so-called Guatemalans went through, they line up with this Bible. Hey, give me Deuteronomy 28 and it's still in your ox. Give me that real quick. Thank you. It's 31. Give me that.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 31. Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thine eyes shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee.
You know what happened in Guatemala? All the different things of their community was stolen by the European powers, including the United States. Have you ever heard of those banana plantations? Yeah, you heard of banana plantations, right? You know who ran that? The United States. Why y'all want controlling your own resources? You know what that's called? Colonization.
Bring it out.
That was in the Bible, right? And you know why that happened to the Guatemalan people? Because we broke God's laws. Do you believe in the Bible? All praise to the Most High. Let me ask you a question. What did you go? Did you go up Catholic?
No, I don't know, but I believe in it.
Still believe? Okay, all praises. So let me show you something about the Bible, right? This is the reason why that happened to the Guatemalan people. It's the reason why the United States, Spain, and all the other nations could come and put their will on the Guatemalan people. Give me 28 verse 15.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Now, the Bible says that God gave us laws, statutes, and commandments. You heard me, sister? The Bible says he gave us laws, statutes, and commandments. But if we didn't listen to them laws, statutes, and commandments, there's going to be a curse put upon us. That makes sense? Because you want to do what God commands us to do, right? You don't want to kill. You don't want to steal. You don't want to commit adultery, try to take somebody else's wife. You don't want to do these things. So God said, if you do these things, I'm going to put a curse on you. Something bad is going to happen to you. Now, I'm going to read what I read earlier. I don't know if y'all was out here or not. Go back to verse 48. I'm going to read this real quick.
Verse 48. Therefore shall thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
Have you heard about the conditions on them banana plantations? Man, they work all day, every day, all day, sun up from sundown. You got to make a quota of bananas, right? And matter of fact, go in your history book. It's called the Banana Wars. The United States went into something called the Banana Wars, right? During the early 1900s. Hey, sis, don't go yet, sis. I'm going over all history, sis. Don't go yet.
I know it, and I'm with you, you're right, but I gotta go.
Don't go yet. You got to fly. Hey, it's the number of words on the back of them. All right, check that fly out. Look at your history, man. It's called the Banana Wars that the United States waged in Guatemala. It killed a lot of people. Killed a lot of people to put them on the plantations, right? And think about it. Your friend will not do that. So the Bible is talking about that specific person. Come on.
Therefore shall thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, in nakedness, and in want of all things.
You know what's going on in Guatemala right now? Guatemala got one of the poorest natural, what do you call it? GDP. Natural, like lowest output of any country, right? We got the lowest, but they rich in natural resources. And that come from everybody else, the United States, Spain, all the different places, taking it and pushing their resources down, pushing their GDP down to the ground. That's why it's so poor. Why y'all, how it's so poor and y'all got all the bananas that everybody eating? You gotta start thinking about these things, man. You gotta start thinking about your history, my brother. Come on.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Now, contrary to popular belief right here, this image come from Central and South America. This one right here, they had yokes of iron on y'all necks to put y'all back into compliance. It's crazy thing about it, they don't teach this in our schools no more. Even our parents, even they got lost through oppression and slavery and keeping everything in the dark, keeping everything quiet. We stopped teaching our people their true history according to the Bible. Because when you start learning who you are according to the Bible, bro, hey, you a God walking this earth, man.
That's right.
You're not what everybody say you are. You're not a Spic, you're not Guatemalan, you an Israelite according to this Bible.
That's
Come
right.
on.
Verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flight.
Now, when I say look at the Banana Wars, you gotta look at the Banana Wars, man, because a nation came from far to put the Guatemalans in subjection.
Right.
A nation came from far to do that. They didn't come from around the corner. They didn't come from the next country over. They came from far to do that. Because the people who run Guatemala, people who run them banana plantations don't look like you, do they? They don't. They don't. You see what I'm saying? Come on.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flight.
Now, my brother just put it up, but they came bearing that eagle. You got $1 in your pocket? You got $1 in your pocket? Pull out that dollar. Pull out that dollar. You gonna have 5? Let me see something. If I got $1 in their pocket, I want to show him that eagle. I want to show him that eagle. Who came? Who came? I'm a visual person. Look on the back of that. What you see on the back of that? An eagle, right? An eagle. So the eagle represents something. Now look at that. Now look at that right there. American eagle. So you see the correlation now? So when it says as swift as the eagle flies, it's talking about the correlation, how these people came. These people came bearing the standard of what? The eagle. Same people, same torment, same oppression. The same people that had the so-called Guatemalans in oppression, the same people that had the so-called black man in oppression. That makes sense? If it don't, let me know now, because I go back over. If it don't, let me know. Let me know. So what I'm telling to y'all brothers is, hey, what's your name? What's your name?
Leo.
Leo. Leo? What I'm telling you, Leo, is we gotta come back and start keeping the commandments of God. Y'all know what the day is? Let me show you what the day is. Give me that. Revelation. No, I'm not sorry. Exodus 10, 20 and 8. That's what I'm talking about. Exodus 20 and 8. Let me show y'all something. Let me show y'all something real quick. Because knowing your history, knowing who you are, you're an Israelite according to this Bible, things come with that. And today is a very special day. Today is a very special day. Read that.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor, and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
Today is the Lord's Sabbath day. Y'all ever heard that before? Today is a very special day with the Lord. Today is one of them days that our ancestors, our people back in Guatemala, back on the west coast of Africa, back in Israel, we was breaking this commandment. That's why these things happen to us, that happen to us. So we got to stop breaking the commandment of keeping the Sabbath day holy. One of the things about keeping the Sabbath day holy is no buying or selling. Did y'all ever heard that before? It's no buying or selling today. Get that in Nehemiah 10:31. It's no buying or selling. So don't go no stores, don't go nowhere. Because today is a holy day unto the Most High God.
Right.
Come on, man. Hey, I know you're trying to go, man. Hey, listen, hey, it's some good history, bro. It's some good history, man. Some good history, because if somebody asks you who you are, I know you. I know you say you're 16, right? If somebody asks you who you are, and your response is, I don't know, that should make you feel some type of way. That should make you, matter of fact, hold that. Go to Isaiah 1 and 3. Go to Isaiah 1 and 3. If somebody asks you what's your nationality, and you kind of say, I don't know, you gotta think about it, and you gotta kind of, well, that should make you feel some type of way.
Get out.
That should hurt you in your soul. Why I don't know who I am? Why I can't just say, hey, yes, Israelite, this and this, or if you don't know, say, I'm from here, I'm from there, but you gotta think about it.
Right.
You should think in your head, is something wrong with that.
What?
There's something wrong with that. Because if I ask a white dude, if I ask him where he's from, be like, oh yes, my family is from England.
Right.
We go all the way back to the 1500s under George V, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But we can't do that.
Right.
We can't do that. But you know, a group of people, God foretold was going to be like that. Read.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 1 and verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know.
Matter of fact, did you catch that? He said, an ox knows his owner. An ox, it's a dumb animal, but he know who he is. The ass knows his master's crib. But he said somebody didn't know. I'm going to read it again. I want you to catch the name that they said. Come on.
The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know. My people doth not consider.
Who he said didn't know? What was the people's name? I want you to listen now. I want you to listen. He said a name. Come on, we gotta think. We gotta think. Come on. Read again.
The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know. My people doth not consider.
Who didn't know? Who he called? What was the name of his people? Hey bro, let me ask you a question, man. You smoke?
No, I don't.
Good. You don't smoke no cigarettes now? You don't smoke no cigarettes on that? Good. Man, we gotta think, bro. We gotta think. I'm gonna read one more time, then I'm gonna give you the answer. Come on.
The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know. My people doth not consider.
So who are the people that didn't know? What was their name? Israel. There you go, my brother. Israel.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.